to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I am your host, Nicholas Playlog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And today, guys, we have some things to talk about today. The Blue Jays go out and make a move and get a minor leaguer in... Oh, I'm gonna butcher it. Gosuke Katoh.
I think that's right.
I think that's right. Gosuke Katoh?
Right. Yeah, I think
okay. So
or
we got...
I think it's Gosake, maybe?
Gosake?
I don't know. I'm guessing. But
anyways, if someone could correct us. I know there's a video that he actually, is a Google Translate that pronounces it. So we'll take a look at that. But, guys, we have that to talk about, as well as some CBA something that we'll get into.
Yeah, we don't really know, man. It's all ridiculous. Also, a little bit more of a casual stream, so feel free to throw the questions in the chat at will. We don't know how long we're gonna be on here, just until the thoughts run out. You know,
it's like we have to have a show. We got to put on a show of something. So this is the show. So you guys are welcome to join.
This is the freaking show, and I suppose that we might as well start off with the title of the video and talk about this. It almost seems ridiculous that we're titling one of our videos about a dude who probably, well, maybe not probably, but very likely might not even see any MLB time this year at all. I don't know. Could be, but who knows? But he's never in his whole life, actually. So I guess maybe the better bet would be no because of that. But yeah, tell the people about this dude.
Yeah, this guy, basically I can pull up the page right here, everybody. So Gosuke Katoh. Or however you pronounce his name. He's never played in the MLB, like Nick's saying. And but last year, in 2021, his first year back since the 2020 lockout, he was actually kind of decent with a 306 average, 388 on base, 474 slugging, and an 862 OPS. And what I can see here, I mean, he does hit some bombs, played 114 games, and this man can play some second, first, and third. We definitely need some more infield help, so it never helps getting help in the infield.
Well, I would go further and say that's more than kind of decent. That is definitely decent. That's a good overall slash line. That's pretty good production too. I mean, again, not major league, so take that as you will. But that is also AAA. Granted, he is 27 years old, so I don't know how much of a ceiling this dude has, but I mean, maybe sky's the limit if he's never seen the MLB before, right? Who knows? Sky's
the limit. He's still young. I believe he was like 27.
He's 27,
right?
yeah.
Right? So, I mean, the potential here is maybe he comes off the bench and plays well. That's the potential.
Yeah, right. He's not locked in a starting role or anything. Don't be thinking to yourselves, oh, wow, we went out, we got our infielder guy. We're still going to be in the Chris Bryant conversations. We're still going to be in all of those, Cattell, Marte trade rumors, Jose Ramirez trade rumors, Matt Chapman, you name it, we'll be in it. This is a filler piece, folks. This guy is going to chill in AAA. We're going to have some injuries, and maybe it's honestly like a bit of a backup there too, right? If we don't end up getting any of those dudes, we do end up running with Espinal. We do end up running with Biggio. I mean, it's nice to have some depth pieces just chilling, waiting, hopefully one day, if he needs to be called upon.
Yeah, I can see this guy easily being a shuttle role, being that guy in his 27s and signing another minor league deal. That's kind of your job now, is that minor league, shuttle back and forth. You're not willing to call up the prospect, especially if we find out the CBA starts to have some more rules where maybe you can't just call up prospects because then the clock really starts going. So who knows?
Yeah.
But I like what Del Kerman says. I like his AAA numbers anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. I like his AAA numbers too. It almost makes me think, it's like something that we never talk about on this show at all, and I mean, it makes sense, is, all the guys down there in the minor leagues, well, not all of them, but there are players who make whole careers out of just being a minor league baseball player. This is one of those dudes, and it's like he's almost, too, it's weird. He's right on the fringe, he's he's almost good enough to make it major leagues, but then, you factor in he's been there for a long time. I imagine he didn't have a lot of pedigree coming up. It's like worst case scenario, this guy's going to be a stud for our Buffalo team.
Yeah, literally. Hey, Del Carmen just said it here. Katoh is a great replacement for Valera. There you go.
Yeah,
that's literally the replacement.
That's true. Yeah,
you know?
I was never a big fan of Valera anyway, so I'm happy to get a dude with like some good upside. Maybe, who knows?
Honestly, Valera is better than most minor leaguers, and so is this guy.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That could be the that literally could be the 1-for-1 replacement there. So we got Valera today, guys. We got a Valera.
Yeah, that's
Love
right.
to see it.
I do want to share a little video that he posted on his Twitter. You guys should have the audio here, and I loved it if you haven't seen it.
Gosuke Katoh, San Diego, California.
That's sweet, man.
There you go.
That's sweet.
Shout
he
out
posted that
Munenori.
himself. Hey, that's awesome.
He did, so he recognizes that. He recognizes that.
Yeah, obviously too. And I mean, like, Japanese legend there, and throwing it out there in reference and everything like that. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
I fuck with that.
I like it. You know, just for that fact, I like you way better than Valera, and I haven't even seen you.
Yeah, 100%. Like Valera, where are your videos doing cool edits and shit like that?
Yeah,
on Twitter,
right, Valera? God, Breivik.
Yeah, I never really liked Breivik to begin with. Anyways, those are our thoughts on that, dude. So it's good that we have him. We'll probably see him in spring training if, of course, we get to the spring training, which is starting to become more and more in question as time goes on. I see right here Cobra already coming in and saying hopefully ends after Super Bowl.
That's kind of when is the Super Bowl this year? Is it like second week February?
It'll be like mid-February. I don't know the exact date, but it will be mid-February.
At this point, I'm hoping for that.
I was hoping it would end prior to Super Bowl. I was hoping that prior to Super Bowl, things would be done and dusted, and we'd be like in the swing of things. Because if it starts getting done after Super Bowl, then we actually start running into some serious problems here, guys. Like, that is when the spring training starts to get into question, organizational stuff starts getting up in the air. I'm hoping that it gets done a little bit sooner than that, big guy.
Well, I hope so too. But the news coming out, which is none of it, just Max Scherzer coming out talking about how the MLBPA has not made a single effort to talk to the MLB.
Right.
And we painted this literally before the new year, like, oh yeah, the MLB, like, those bastards, like they got to come out, they got to make an effort. MLBPA putting an offer, but the MLBPA hasn't even reached out to be like, hey, so it's been a while. Like, I'm following up with an email right now, like, hey, so I still haven't heard back about you about this offer. They haven't even done that yet. So we literally haven't heard anything. And how does that make you feel? The good guys apparently aren't even good.
Well, but there was never any good guys here. There was never any bad guys. I don't even want to put it in. Yeah, it was always that. It was always that, guys. Like, I walked into this thing, and it's like, yeah, like all of this, all the reports that you hear, I'm going to take them all with a big grain of salt because, it's like you're going to hear a report come out slandering one side and which is going to be promoted from the other side. It's like, it's like politicians basically going at it right now. It's like election campaigns, I pay zero attention to election commercials, and I will be paying zero attention to, like, these reports that come out until we actually see some, serious results, which is not happening right now.
No, it's not happening. Yeah. I mean, just like elections, a lot of officials or politicians, they have a stake in it. They're in for the money.
Absolutely.
A lot of them are in it for the money. They're not in it for the good of the country.
No, it's all about the fucking money, dude. It's always been about the money, and the players want the money for their own personal gain, which is fair enough, and the owners want the money for their own personal gain, which is fair enough. Who deserves the most money? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. That's for them to get in a room and argue about. So they have yet to even do that. I'd love to pull up MLB trade rumors on that thing and show it to those people because Matt Scherzer does have a really cool quote that I think I'd like to read out.
Oh, go for it. Is it on MLB?
Yeah, trade rumors. Trade rumors. Yeah. So it's it should be somewhere around here. It discusses the lockout. And I'll put it up on my computer too, so I can read it off and kind of give you guys an idea as to what the hell he is saying right now. Let's see if I can get my thing going right now. Scherzer.
I think you might have passed. I know you guys can see it right here. It's there you go.
All right. So Scherzer's coming out and saying, So Scherzer comes out, also posits. Where's the first thing that he says? We feel as players that too many teams have gone into a season without any intent to win during this past CBA. Even though that can be a strategy to win in the future years, we've seen both small market and large market clubs embrace tanking, and that cannot be the optimal strategy for the owners.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your guys' feelings on that, like as far as you too.
Yeah.
Like, just should tanking be eradicated? Is this?
I think it has to be limited, because when you look at the MLB, the current playoff structure, and that's one of the big talking points is the playoff structure, because they only have 10 teams, and then 4 of which are only guaranteed 1 game. So you have 6 that are guaranteed a 5-game series.
Right.
You have a lot of teams that are like, well, shit, am I actually going to be able to compete with those guys who are the top, most paid players, highest budget teams? Are we going to compete? Probably not, unless you're the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right.
But I like the idea of limiting the tank by increasing the playoff structure. That way, now you got fringe teams that are like just a little bit of, they're literally average, but they could go see a postseason game because there's an opportunity now with 14 was so far as what being talked about as the number.
Yeah, I do think that the playoff structure needs to shift a little bit. I don't think that there will be any way to completely eradicate tanking. Like, it's
always going to be there.
It's always going to be there.
For the worst teams.
Well, then that's, and it's like nobody's innocent. We did it in 2017 and 2018. We tanked our whole way through, right? Like, we walked into those seasons understanding that we are going to be one of the worst teams in baseball, and we followed suit and we're one of the worst teams in baseball. And I do think that from an owner standpoint, like, that's valid. That should be valid. If you can exploit the system and do well managerially, and that's going to help you long term, as we are seeing right now with the Blue Jays. Hey, it's like we got all these prospects now because we drafted appropriately. Like, we did what we needed to do. We saved our money, right? It's like we did tank, but now we're getting the dividends. Like, that makes sense. I think that you're right, though. Like, an expanded playoffs might tackle that a little bit. It's not going to completely, get it out of there, but maybe some fringe teams would be considering buying more if that was the case.
Right. And I think this might be an obvious question, but what do you think Max was talking about when he's like, by expanding the playoffs, this helps the players? Like, what do you kind of take from that? Because this might be obvious.
Well, does he say that?
No, but he's implying it, right? Because that's why he's part of the MLBPA. Like, he's fighting for the players, right? To get more pay. So what does not having so many tanking teams do for a player?
Yeah, well, obviously it makes more competition at the free agency market. It's like it means that there are more options here. There are more teams that are willing to spend money. It's like you're going to have more of a bargain going on. And if you are a player, especially if you're not like the top tier guy, right? Like if you're, someone else that still a very good serviceable MLB player, but not like, the Carlos Correa of the market. Well, maybe some other team is interested in, buying you that might not have been before, Yeah,
because there's that struggle right now where a lot of the middle players are being lost, right? And that's another thing I'm going to bring up in a second, where the reason why the middle players, and I'm talking about the guys, I'm talking about little guys like Randall Grichuk, right? He's lucky he got a 5-year, $10 million a year deal.
Yeah, Grichuk's laughing. Yeah, Grichuk's laughing.
Because he was on a crap team where we needed him. But there's so many guys entering Grichuk's phase when he was with the Blue Jays that might not get paid because they're not willing to take the risk in signing guy for $10 million a year, because look how bad it ends up being, right?
Yeah.
Look how bad it ends up being for a team. Whereas when you can go out and get a really cheap guy for basically under $6 million if he's a decent player for the first 3 years of his contract, or even sometimes even under $3 or $4 million for the first 3 years of contract, who can do equally the same thing. So I save about $27 million and I have a minor leaguer plays, and when it comes time to pay him, goodbye, I'll go find somebody else.
Yeah, and that also kind of sparks too, that even gets into the whole thing about the the fact that the players that do come up get paid too little, and it needs to be based on what they bring to the squad. It's like the article on MLB Trade Rumors talks about, I think specifically, or it might not be this one 100%, but brings reference to the fact that Vladimir Guerrero Jr., for instance, gets paid dick fuck and provided so much value to our team last year. Also, on your point, Scherzer also posits that middle-class free agents are being slighted under the current system as well. So it's like he's talking about that and saying it's like middle-class free agents. Scherzer, at the end of the day, is
he's
fine.
Not middle class. He's good, but I'm glad that he's actually vouching, because those are his teammates. Those are his friends.
Yeah, 100%.
He came up and played ball with these guys. You know?
And I mean, even though I hope that, even though Scherzer gets paid literally the most out of anybody, he could understand, it's like he's a great player, but, things go a couple different ways. He gets hit with a bad injury. Well, now I'm a middle-class free agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if one or two things didn't go my way here, I didn't get this luck, right? It's like, boom, now I'm a middle-class free agent. That could have just as easily been me. So, obviously I'm a talented player, but granted, I got to look out for my other dudes out there. So I definitely appreciate what he's doing. But it does, bring back the conversation that you were talking about then with the young guys like Vlad, like all these dudes in the service time. And that whole fucking thing, man, like, I don't even know how to begin tackling that,
Yeah, like me either. Like I feel like that's going to take the longest. And that's going to take the longest. And for those who are just joining us on our live right now is there's nothing has been said. The MLBPA hasn't made an effort to go and do that. So the fact that that's going to take the longest, I don't know when it's going to come back. But anyways, I'm digressing a little bit to get to your point is, like, what do you do? Because obviously that is how we've organized like our teams. If you're going through a rebuild, that's what you're trying to strive for, is getting elite talents on very young deals.
That's the thing.
And then you add on big free agents. So then what becomes the new strategy? I have no idea. I don't think anybody knows until the CBA actually comes out. Maybe there's a shortened window where you can do that. Maybe there's a way where maybe even the market like plays itself out where maybe these high paid players, because there's so many players that need to be paid, maybe it kind of dilutes a little bit. Maybe they don't get biggest contract. I don't know.
Well, there's a bunch of what ifs too, and I posed this question to some of you guys as well. If we make it, for instance, like players that come up, now they're getting paid more, like the Vladimir Guerreros of the world, or whatever. Maybe just any player in general, right? Like these rookie contracts are like more expensive now, or whatever. Well, is it going to get to a point where we don't see as many lower profile prospects coming up?
True, because maybe you're more considered like, oh, like I'm gonna wait till just about he's about to break out in the minors. Like he is so overtly killing it in the minors. This guy's batting like 400. He's destroying it. He's 26 years old, but I'm not gonna start his clock. So that's been a conversation about that. Like, when does the clock start?
When does the clock start? And then also too, like, will it limit some guy's clock ever starting? Like, if I know that I'm gonna have to pay this dude like more money than I want, and like he's not high in our prospect system, like I just, I'm looking for a guy to bring up that's cheap. Am I gonna do that now, or it's like, am I gonna look elsewhere? Like, just I don't know.
I hear what you're saying. So it's like that's why I'm thinking like the clock system's kind of bullcrap in its own way. It's dumb. So I think like, what if it's this way? What if it's a rush to get him? But then that could be exciting. The rush to get the prospect to the show. It's like, okay, you sign him on a rookie deal. He has 6 years now. He has 6 years, and then he's a free agent. Whether he's in the minors, that's a year. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to get him to the show. Now, that's not to put any pressure on the prospects. It might be good pressure because they might train harder. They might work harder. They're going to get to the show, and they want to play for the team as much as possible during that time. So
would that mean then, though, Vladimir Guerrero, for instance, because we signed him when he was 16. Would that mean that it's like 22 years old? Like, sorry, like you're a free agent.
It wouldn't affect the players now because they're already on contracts, right?
Yeah,
but like
totally. But moving forward, it's like if you sign a dude when he's 16, like does that you're talking about? Wow. Okay.
So that could hint development a little bit, like maybe like because a lot of international players get signed when they're 16, and I think that's kind of weird. Like maybe you kind of have to put them in the same pool as like a lot of American high schoolers and college players, where like when you enter the draft and you choose to sign with a team, that's your clock. So you got to kind of be aware of that rather than like getting on at 16, and like that also helps a lot of organizations. Like Teoscar was he didn't pan out so much later in his career, but he was also a international signing at a very young age. Like maybe you kind of have to start playing on the same pool where like you enter through a draft, you're unsigned, however it is, your clock starts going now.
Right.
Like as soon as you're in the minor leagues. I don't know.
I do think too it's very, very difficult to say, because all of this is like baseball is weird because it's all in different countries, and like you do have some players choosing to do a college route in America, and they don't get out of college until they're like 21, 22, and then you have other dudes like Vlad who are just like smacking dingers where he grew up, and it's like, well, you're just gonna be a baseball player, like that is what you're gonna be in your life, so it's like this is it now. It's like I almost want to have something like the NHL does, where it's like there is a draft when you are this age. It does not matter who you are. It does not matter where you come from. Yeah. It's like when you turn 19 years old, you are now eligible for the draft. You can enter the draft, and you can be drafted if you so choose to desire, and it's like players like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who are elite as fuck. You are going to go first overall. That's just what's going to happen. And that's just going to be the case. And your clock starts right there. It's like 4 or 5, however many years we decide. It's like, this is what it is. It's going to happen. And, if you pan out, you pan out. If you don't, you don't.
And I like that so much better because obviously we hear in the past, like, former first overall picks like Chris Bryant, for example. It's like, yeah, like those guys, like, they're coming up. Mike Trout, actually, he was drafted much later. But, like, in a lot of number 1 overall picks that to this day are like, they're coming and everything. And it's great. But they're only from, like, American high schools and colleges. And you don't really get see the love in a lot of international players.
No.
And international players end up being one of the best.
No, totally,
in baseball. And it's like, why aren't we idolizing these kids when they're coming up? Why aren't we hearing about
these
them?
things? Yeah,
right?
and it's like, and that's the thing too. I was gonna use I was gonna give baseball a pass because I was like, oh well, international players like this is very difficult. But NHL has the same thing, It's some of the best NHL players are from, Sweden, Russia, like freaking all over,
right.
Czech. Like,
granted, those are more like first nation or first world countries that are more developed and richer. So
totally,
maybe it's not a publicity coming out of Dominican Republic because they're not as rich as some of these big
I'm
nations.
I'm not talking about that necessarily. I'm just talking about the fact that it's like you can have a draft. And you can include
it with
all
different
of
countries.
like a bunch of different countries. It does not just need to be like an NFL draft, for instance,
right.
where it's like the pool is American players right now coming from American colleges, right?
Right.
You can have a draft with a bunch of different countries involved, and MLB scouts are going to know about them. I might not know about who Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is, but I guarantee that
Unless you know his dad.
Unless I know his dad, but it's like I guarantee moving up to the draft, I'm going to start hearing more and more and more about,
these
that
international players.
You know?
And plus, they have facilities down in, like, Dominican Republic. They have scouts down there all the
100%,
time.
yeah. I mean, obviously they do. Like, Guerrero is literally one of the best players in the league right now.
Yeah, like, they've been scouting him since he was like 8.
He developed somehow,
They were scouting him since he was 8, guaranteed. Yeah. They were scouting him when the Mets, when he was in the Mets, like, batting cages as a 4-year-old.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, oh, wow.
Everybody knew
this guy. But, like, we're talking about for example, Teoscar Hernandez doesn't come from a lineage of baseball elites in the MLB. So it's like, okay, or maybe he does. Maybe I'm mistaken, but not that I know of. And it's like, okay, like this guy could come up and be a good whatever rounder it is.
And I do think the idea of having a baseball draft, that might be difficult for some players who develop later. But that just means that for the beginning of your career, you're gonna play in AAA, and you got to work your way up, and that's just got to be what it is. It's like you're gonna get drafted, and you're gonna be in AAA now, and it's like whatever happens. And if you don't come up until 26, like that is the case. But it's like you grew down there, it's like you made it happen. So
you got to make it work.
I think that makes a lot more fucking sense. And then everybody, it's smaller deals and nobody's service time. Service time is so stupid.
I think it's dumb.
It's the stupidest.
It's how to manipulate players.
It is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and the fact too. I think I might be wrong about this, but is Nate Pearson still a rookie?
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay, he just moved on from that.
He just moved on.
It's
third
like,
year coming up.
Because he was a rookie for like pretty much right up until the end of last year, and that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Now I could be wrong, but I know that his prospect status is gone. Like when they have like the number like the top prospects, sometimes they have prospects that are still in the major leagues years after, like Nate Pearson was, but he's no longer considered a prospect of the Toronto Blue Jays. So does that mean he's a rookie or not? I don't think so. I don't know. Someone please correct us in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know. And also the fact too that service time. I'm just venting about service time here, guys. But service time, it's like you can get called up a year, play a little bit in that year, and then not accumulate 1 year of service time. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it goes by days or games. So like it's kind of like, think of like this kind of, like our decimal system goes up to 10, 100, whatever. The decimal system goes up to 162. So it's like if I played 88 games, whatever, that's a little bit more than half a year.
Yeah,
but once I hit 161 and then 162, it like it's like that counts as 1 year.
Yeah, and that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is the most stupid thing ever.
Yep. It's weird. It's dumb.
And it is super owner friendly in that regard.
And it's conversations like the CBA that's happening right now that is going to determine what baseball is going to look like in the next 20, 25 years. And then back in 94 when they had the initial conversations, or 95 afterwards, this was what they talked about, and they messed up. And MLBPA felt like they got screwed. And now they're trying to fix it right now.
Which is so, and that's what it's so disheartening about the fact that they're not at the table right now, guys.
That's it. We're coming around.
We're all speculating right now about, what we think should happen and whatever. But it's like, at the end of the day, we could make we, as if I could do dick fuck. It's like they could make some serious advancements to the actual game of baseball that would not only make things better for the players, maybe even make things better for the owners, but would make things more entertaining for the fans, would just like overall heighten the game and make it more interesting to watch and to follow. And the fact that, that's clearly not on anyone's mind at all, but just like, how can I, and this is what's so stupid. It's like, the mentality isn't how can I like better, myself and better the game of baseball. The mentality is how can I screw the other side so much? How much can I get away with?
Now let me play some devil's advocate here. What if the strategy is to wait to put the pressure on them? Because if you show weakness in your negotiation, I'm not a big negotiation expert, but if you keep pressing and pressing and pressing, is that not can you not get your advantage? Like, is that a weakness in the argument?
No, obviously 100%. That is why they're waiting.
Why they're doing it.
And they're both gonna, it's the same idea as like you got two cars running together, going together at one another. Like who's gonna deke first, right? Mm-hmm. It's like who's gonna pussy out, and nobody wants to do that, right? Like but the problem is, it's like with these two people that are so bloody stubborn, they're just gonna crash into each other. It's like, and again, it's like yes. In a negotiation, it's like you want to be able to walk away from the table, but in a utopian society of baseball, we're not even entering into it like that. It isn't necessarily a negotiation. This is a conversation. We're talking about how can we better this for both of us involved. And if it gets to the point of negotiation, it gets to that point. But I think that we're arriving at it wrong right now.
Yeah. I mean, like from our perspective, like, obviously, if we were to enter negotiations, we'd enter it very differently. Because I wouldn't care about how they saw me or this is how we're supposed to negotiate. Like I wouldn't give a shit. I'd literally be sitting at the table. I'd show that they're Monday, 9 a.m. Wait there. Even if it's ridiculous, I'd be with all my lawyers and accountants and all the other executives. I'd just be waiting. I'd be like, I'm here. I'd make it very clear to the media, like, I'm here. I'd make them look bad. I'd honestly play the media game. I'd be like, no, I'm right here. Because everyone's wondering, where are they? Where are they? Are they talking? No, they're not. I know they're doing a little bit behind closed doors, or they're trying to push out the media right now. But I'd be like, no, media, come right here. I want to put the freaking fire under them. I want to show them that I'm
ready
here.
To go.
I'm ready to go. And then let them look like bad guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that does make sense.
I think that you got to use it to your advantage, guys. MLBPA, come on. Let's go.
Yo, I also love what Baseball Domain said, too, and this is so stupid.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that Randy Arozarena was still considered a rookie this past year was insane. Yep. That is so true.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
This guy played like a full season last year in the 60 games. Or I don't know if it was a full 60, but I think it was pretty bloody close.
Pretty close.
And then he played the entire playoffs.
Because wait a second. Because he did playoffs in 2019, right? Was it
2020? 2020, the COVID year.
But when did he come up? Because I thought
the first time 2019.
I thought the first time that we saw him was 2019
yeah.
Playoffs, and I remember because he lit it up. I could be mistaking my years.
You're definitely thinking because 2020 he destroyed. He broke like records. It was against LA.
Okay.
He did play for a little bit. Let me switch it over. You guys can see. He did play for a little bit in 19 games in 2019. He had 23 in 2020, so he must have come up near the end and then fuck it up, and then he played like basically the whole year in 2021.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah, like that's rookie of the year numbers, but like the fact that he's still a rookie.
Yeah, should not be still considered a rookie after being in the league for 2 separate years on 2 separate occasions.
Granted, only 84 at bats.
It doesn't matter though. Like,
it's like, I know, like
it's inherently wrong with that.
In any other league, it's like you're a rookie when it's your first year in the league.
Yeah.
This is his third year. His third year.
Yes, exactly. It's like, frankly, it's like if you come up in your rookie year, You know, it's like in football, you come up in your rookie year, you don't play that much, you're not going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. You're not the Rookie of the Year.
That's just not what it is.
No,
you know,
it's
like,
not what it is.
It's not like you're good 3 years later. Oh, you're Rookie of the Year now.
Yeah,
like,
no. I think that's stupid too. Yeah.
You weren't the rookie anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if that will change because if it goes off the service time and it's like, oh, this is still his first year of service time, he's a rookie. I wonder if they'll change to that. I don't know. It will be like more if this is literally your first year, legitimate year in the season or in the league, you are a rookie.
Well, I hope so. I think that's how it should be too.
Should be.
Hashtag Jace for Life is saying, who is Gosuke Katoh? I think how you say it.
Yeah,
and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but we'll just cycle back to that because I know a few more people have joined right now. He's our signing of the day. Minor league player, 27 years old, never played in the MLB before, but he's looked really good in minor leagues last year. Got a pretty good minor league career, honestly, but like last year especially, like super good. And he's probably going to be, coming into spring training this year. We'll probably see him for a few games. Do not expect him to start. Do not expect to see him like maybe ever until we get hit hard with injuries in the season, and then he could come up. But he does have upside if he does that. So.
Yeah, like I think it was Del Kermis that brought it up. He's like our Breivik Valera replacement. Plays first, second, third. Like just a guy. He's
a guy, man.
He's a guy.
He's a guy, yeah. And it's like he seems like a fun guy because he posted on Twitter, and I already like him. So it's like that is what it is, and I'm happy that the management is thinking about it. They're not sitting on their asses completely and just waiting for this lockout to be over. Like they're having some actual conscious thoughts of baseball right now, looking at some, potential, diamonds in the rough that they could scoop up, right?
Even though like it's still a lockout, you still can do minor league actions. And when you think about last year, even though there wasn't a lockout in November when it was pretty dead, like November 2020, we did some minor league signings, got some bullpen guys, made some deals here, made some deals there. It wasn't flashy, wasn't the big, George Springer that we got later and Marcus Semien, but it's stuff that can help your team.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that there was a minor league player that was this good just available.
Yeah,
it's like
sometimes they are. You gotta have good scouts, man. You gotta have good scouts because there's so many players. Like you can't possibly know them all.
Well, I mean, you can if that is your job. It's like if you are an MLB scout, then that you should know. And and frankly too, it's like I obviously don't know, you don't know, because like we're not minor league baseball YouTubers or anything like that. But I'm kind of surprised. It's like if there are guys that are this capable, chilling, like just not even sign anywhere right now. If I was the Blue Jays, I'd be signing every single goddamn one of them because like that guy could be a diamond in the rough, and he is going to cost you like.
Basically nothing.
Literally nothing at all.
I'm not even
know what
trying
we
to look up
signed
his
him
contract.
for, but
yeah.
nothing.
I'm gonna try.
Like literally nothing.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Also,
so it's like.
Also, I want to shout out everybody in the chat. Sorry we didn't get a chance to you, but this is kind of just a casual, fun show. We're just talking about what's happening right now. But yeah, I'm gonna just take a moment to look this up.
Yeah, take a look at his contract right now. Faded Curly 27. Hi, enjoy your videos and Jay support. Keep up the grind. Thank you very much, man. Baseball Domain. The cutoff of your service time should be the All-Star break. Even if you play an inning before the All-Star break, it counts as your first season. Yeah, good point, dude. It's like there has to be something done about that whole situation. It's so stupid. IT is Card Art says we need Matt Chapman. Josh Donaldson 2.0. Clearly, you watched the video. Both of their numbers in Oakland look similar before they go and traded to the Blue Jays, and both have great gloves. Yeah, man, we're on the Matt Chapman train for sure. Not going to cost too much trade capital, and I mean he's like the upside is 100% there. And you can't even find it, can you?
No, literally can't find the numbers, but it's got to be very low because
it's too small.
Because if it was big enough for me to know, then they'd put it there. But obviously, it's not important because it's not worth nothing.
Literally, and it's like, and you got to think too. It's like if you go out and you pick up because that dude had an 862 OPS last year in minor leagues, and he played pretty much the whole minor league season. Let's say you go out, you get like 20 of those guys for nothing.
Yeah,
for like
that's a whole
dirt cheap nothing,
team.
Right? You go out, you sign all the good minor league players. You get all of them.
For an elite AAA.
Is there odds that one of them is a diamond in the rough?
Totally, absolutely.
It's like 1 out of 20. Like I could see that.
Yeah, think about how many guys we bring up through the year. We're like, okay, like this guy's had a good minor league year, and then he does. Most of them don't do too well over a long period of time, but some of them do break out and become part of the team.
Yeah, literally.
I think even if it's just like 1 or 2 good seasons, like this guy Joe Biagini. Shout out to if you guys know who Joe Biagini is. He was a Rule 5 draft pick, and like literally we just took him. He was a minor leaguer. He was good, and then he just broke out and had like I gotta look up his stats, but he had like a 1.6 ERA during like our good playoff run. And it's like, yeah, like this guy was literally a minor leaguer his whole time, and then was good. It was really good because we scouted him.
Well, it's possible, right? You know, it's like, it is possible. So, yeah, literally, Blue Jays, like, if we, you know, you can't sign actual major league players, just go ahead and sign all the minor league players, for God's sake. Like, just get it done. Wow, he played in 2021. That's awesome.
Wow, I can't believe he was still
31 years old, actually.
Yeah,
He literally played like 3 innings, so, like, not really.
Yeah, like,
he's played 7 innings in the last 2 years.
But in 2016, a 3.06 ERA, and I think he even started a few. No, he didn't actually. He started more in 2017 when we needed help, but wow, he did fall off the table. My image of him was this, and I think it got better as the season went on. So like I remember maybe like down the playoff stretch, but hey, you know.
Well, that's pretty good, you know. And think about it too, right? Like I do not believe that this guy was very highly rated in our prospect system.
No,
but,
not in ours because we took him from another team.
I was just gonna say like Santiago Espinal is actually who I was just about to talk about right there. You know, it's like that guy was not an elite prospect. He was just in the minor leagues, had to come up one day, and then it's like started playing around with the glove, looking pretty good. And now it looks like he could be an MLB player. So you know, there are diamonds waiting.
I literally saw like Espinal, like I look at our new signing right now, Gosuke or whatever. I forget how to pronounce his name, because literally. Like that's it. I saw Espinal's potential role being like, oh, he's just like a bench bat, you know, and it was for like the first few seasons, and now
it's starter. Like, hey, you know, it's like now he actually has starter potential. I know a lot of people like want to go out and get a better guy. Like I understand that,
which is very,
you know, it's like, but I still think too, it's like, you know, Espinal had like a 785 or 790 OPS last year with an exceptional glove. Who's to say he can't do that over, you know, a whole 162? Like, you know, I'm not gonna say that he can, right? It's possible. So
we've only seen him do it. And especially last year last year is kind of like the year to all of our players, like all of our young guys, to be like, okay, what do you have? Because we haven't really got the chance to see it. 2019 and get called up halfway through the year. Obviously, COVID 2020, and this was the full season. So, you know, I think you can.
And frankly, too, Espinal had every excuse to not do it last year because he was getting, you know, put up, brought down. You know, he was starting some games. Then it was like, you know, like other, it's like some injuries in there too. So he had every excuse not to do it. But every time that he was on the field, it was always the same sort of performance every single time. We're getting on base at some point. We're slapping a single. It's going to be, you know, it's like we are making some good defensive plays out there. So it's like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like I've always come out and said, it's like if we do not go out and get Chris Bryant, we do not go out and get some other dude, you know, based off a big trade. Like I'm honestly almost more confident. Maybe this is okay, actually this is a good question. You're more confident in who's gonna have a better year next year, Santiago Espinal or Cavan Biggio? Are you more confident in those guys?
I'm more confident in Espinal.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm more confident in Espinal.
And that's, you know, I don't know. Let us know how you guys feel about that, you know, but it's like I'm actually more confident that Santiago Espinal is gonna put up next year and, you know, at least for the very least be, you know, solid defensively than Cavan Biggio will.
Yeah, like I think like he's gonna own him on the defensive side for sure. And you know, I still only see like Espinal's ceiling being like kind of what he did last year, maybe 800, maybe 810. Whereas Cavan Biggio's ceiling could actually be like 850 one day, where like if he gets the pop working for him again, and that's what he needs. He needs the pop back. He needs to stay healthy. So I think Cavan's got potential for the bat, but I don't think it's going to happen this year just because we've only seen him underperform last year and get rid of the injury and bad performances defensively. So
yeah, at the end of the day, like we've honestly never really seen it from Cavan Biggio.
No,
and that
not
is
really.
why he's kind of under the radar right now. And you know, he's in the same boat as maybe not quite in the same boat, but similar to Nate Pearson, where it's like, you know, you were
similar,
very similar to Nate Pearson. It's like you come out this year, you're going to get another chance, but you come out this year and you know, just do not do it at all. Like we have to start looking at you very differently now. You know, it's like we're starting to exit the prospect phase and enter into the this is what you are phase. And that's not an ideal situation to be in. So this is like kind of a put up, shut up year for Cavan Biggio.
I was literally going to say that. I was going to ask, is that the year for him? And yeah, I think so. Same. Nate Pearson. What do you think about Nate Pearson? He goes in the same category, put up or shut up?
I mean, I think that Nate Pearson, like, if he comes out and gets injured again and like is bad, then we're not even gonna talk about him anymore. Like we will not talk about him anymore as like a prospect who's going to break out. Our like whole gaze will focus on other people. You know, it's like he'll still be around. You know, and it's like maybe he'll have the potential to do so later. But we're not going to refer to him as like Nate Pearson, our good prospect. You know, he'll just be Nate Pearson now. So yeah, in that regard, I do think if he wants to hold on to like some sort of pedigree, yeah, I think he's got to put up a little bit.
Yeah, like I think he's got to put up a little bit. You know, because I think we made a video about this where it's like next year realistically. Like it's more or less Nate Pearson's, like not Nate Pearson's fault because like the injuries and his body is just not used to throwing that speed and moving at that velocity and contorting that way because he keeps getting injured when he gets a full workload, right? And so like for me next year is like, okay, it's like put up the stamina. Can I see some stamina
at the
and
very
some health?
At the very
Can
least,
I just see that?
You need to stay healthy. You know,
can I
at the very least, and then yeah, it's like, and that's part of the problem, right? With Nate Pearson is like, I honestly can't even get into the extra stuff about finding the zone and like getting your ERA down and like pitch mixing and all this garbage,
if you're not
right?
Pitching,
if you're never pitching, right? So it's like, what am I supposed to say about this? You know, I understand that like that is not your fault. Like you would probably give anything, you give your left nut to be on the mound right now, but it's like, you know, it doesn't matter. You're not there right now, and it just sucks. So, you know, get on the fucking mound and you know, keep yourself healthy. And if you need to throw 95 instead of 100, then do it.
We got a pronunciation here. Thank you so much. You pronounce it Gosuke Katoh.
Katoh. Gosuke Katoh.
Gosuke Katoh.
Yeah.
Katoh.
That guy. We got that guy today, guys.
Cool.
I
like it.
Faded Curly 27 says hot take the J Straight, Biggio, etc. for J Ram and someone like Plesac or Savale. That's you know what? I honestly don't even think it's a hot take anymore. Like we talked about this thing so much goddamn times at this point, and Biggio seems like a staple in those deals at all times.
It could totally happen, man. It could totally happen. Also, I wanted to read this one out because we were talking about Brian a little bit earlier. Master debater, which also I thought was really funny because it sounds like masturbator, and also we're talking about debating and the CBA. We need you, buddy. We need you at the tables.
Yeah.
Bryant is best option 100% because if Groshans is next year or year after, Bryant can go to outfield. And that's exactly what I'm thinking, too. Because he has that outfield eligibility. Like, yeah, we need to fill a hole at third, but we also got Groshans, like you're saying, and then Aurelvis Martinez as well, who's also played some third base. So if, you know, he needs to move over to left field, Teoscar's gone, Lourdes is gone down the road, he can play. You know, he can play, and then we can have our middle infield guys be young. You know?
Yeah, no, I do think, yeah, we're still all on the Bryant train, 100%.
Oh, yeah, like, that's my, okay, so what's your dream? I think have we made a dream off season?
Well, that was kind of the Christmas wish list.
Kind of the Christmas
we did that a
wish
bit.
list.
Yeah, I was like, this would be like what we, you know,
Chris Bryant.
I was pretty realistic about it. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, it all depends on like what sense of reality we're referring to right now. Like, you know, my dream of dreams is, you know, we get Chris Bryant and J Ram and we, you know, sign Clayton Kershaw and
trade
you know,
for Ketel Marte.
For Ketel Marte. Like, that's my dream of dreams, you know, and it's like, fuck the prospects, let's just trade them all and like we're gonna win for the next like 3 years straight.
But you never asked Santa for like a house and a Lambo.
No,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know, like Santa's not gonna bring me a Lambo ever. So yeah, I mean, I do believe that Chris Bryant would be a pretty good, you know, like actual realistic goal right
like
there to
Xbox,
get that done.
Like we said.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like that would be like very, very good. You know, it's like probably isn't not going to happen. You know, but you got to cross your fingers. You got to hope for it. You still got to ask, right?
Yeah, you got to ask, and if you don't ask, and he never comes. So we got to go out and ask his agent what he thinks about Toronto Blue Jays.
100%.
So what else do you guys think? I think we pretty much covered everything today. Like in terms of news in that case, and we talked about our guy.
Yeah, it's difficult because there's not a whole lot of news going on right now, folks. If there's anything that you want to talk about, like we'll be on for like maybe a few more minutes. So just like comment in the chat right now, and we'll bring it up. And yeah.
Gimmo 43 saying lefty bat to balance the lineup, and I have seen this a lot. And yeah, I know that our bats are super right-handed heavy, but I haven't really seen it affect us. You know what I mean? Like affect our offense. Like, and I totally hear it. I totally see it. It'd be nice, you know, because it would provide a little bit more balance, especially when it comes to other teams making bullpen decisions. But it's not for me. Like I used to think that way, like back in 2015, like lefty righty switch, lefty righty, like that's how you kind of balance your lineup. But I mean, we've seen a right-handed hitting lineup like the Toronto Blue Jays, and like, I mean, we're doing pretty good. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, for those NFL fans out there right now, you're watching the game shift, right? We're going for it on fourth down all the time. We're not kicking field goals. We're going for touchdowns, right? And back in the day, like, it was always like fourth down is fourth down, and unless you were in a critical time where you need to win this ball game right now, you punt the ball away. I think that the game of baseball is shifting in a sense a little bit, and it's like, rather than just we're putting you in because you're a left-handed hitter, we're putting you in because you're a good hitter. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It's like, and also too, like, the training as well. Like, people are good hitters. Like, I want if all of our guys are righties, but they all have great batting average and on bases and OPSs, like, it doesn't matter.
And their splits aren't drastic because obviously you get in situations where it's always been the theory of lefty pitcher versus lefty batter dominates, and that is true for some for unexperienced bad lefty batters who don't have the discipline against breaking sliders away or breaking balls away. But if the splits for an elite batter aren't that drastic, like if Vladdy hits 260 off of a lefty, but then hits like 350 off of a righty, I don't care. You know what I mean? But if it's so drastic where like this player literally can only hit righties, then he's on the bench. He's on the bench in the Toronto Blue Jays. He's on the bench. You can't play.
Yeah, no, I agree too. It's like, look at the stats from last year, right? Like, we had a right-handed dominant lineup, and I think that our worst bat was lefty. It was the cycling lefty. Who was our lefty last year?
Dickerson.
Okay, but so maybe not our worst bat. Then,
Dickerson was all right.
Dickerson was decent. I like Dickerson.
This was the lefty.
Is Dickerson still available?
No. Well, yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah. See, Dickerson's the type of guy that I'd be okay with getting back. I was not on the Dickerson at first, but I mean, he definitely put up and did pretty good.
He's a good outfield bat. Again, like after Grichuk, I always keep bringing this up. We have nobody, so it's like it was Dickerson that was after. Even Dickerson went above Grichuk in the depth charts at the end of the season. Because he was a lefty.
Well, he was also better.
He was a bit better.
He was like, I think he was actually like
a 260 average.
Toss it up. I think he was actually
like
significantly better than Grichuk was last year.
Guarantee.
He was pretty good.
Corey Dickerson.
And I mean, Corey Dickerson's actually the type of dude like this is what I wish Grichuk was. This is what I wish he was.
Yeah, last year he hit 271.
271, it's like 326 on base,
okay.
734 OPS. I mean, like that's
actually,
like
it's very similar OPS wise to Grichuk.
He's about 30 points higher.
Oh, really? He's 704. Grichuk is?
I think Grichuk is 707.
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, it's ingrained in my brain, bro.
You can't stop. That's why you want him gone. You keep looking at him.
Okay, double check for me. Actually, what is Randall Grichuk?
Okay.
Yeah, show me what Randall Grichuk is. I think it's 707.
Randall Grichuk, 703.
Oh wow, even worse. Goddamn. So it is 30 points, 31 points to be exact. Yeah.
He's just a better. And that's the thing. It's like, we kind of shifted away our focus a lot, like for me personally, to OPS, and I kind of forget about batting average, but I'd much rather, if you're going to have similar ball ranges or ballpark of like OPS, your batting average is better. Because at least like you're a threat. You're hitting. You're a threat.
Yeah, because his batting average and his on base is way better than Grichuk's. You look at Grichuk's, right? Like, go back to fucking and that. Like,
281.
What the hell?
Like, that's 50 points. He's 50 points higher.
Your slugging is slightly better.
Yeah, but that's it.
We're not putting you into slug, dude.
No.
We're not.
Well, that's all. Well, that's it. We are actually only putting him into slug.
Yeah, okay, yes. But, like, when you're going into the 8th spot, like, okay, like, if you want to hit the occasional home run, that's fine. But I'd actually much prefer that you more consistently get on base to hopefully turn over the lineup.
Slugging is just a bonus. Slugging is like, that makes you elite. If you have all the tools, you can get on base, you can hit for average. The slugging is what makes you a superstar. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what separates you.
Yeah, and exactly, right? And it's like, and how many times, for instance, right? Like, let's say Grichuk next year, I don't know, let's say he hits 25 home runs. That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
He hits 25 home runs next year. Well, how many times are those 25 home runs, in critical, like, we need to win this game? Or how many times are those in, like, games where it's like, we've already won, you hit a home run? I don't know what the stats are there. Impossible to say. It's like you need to literally count every single one of those things. But it's like, I guarantee that if you were to look at how many more times Corey Dickerson got on base, in a critical moment sort of thing, that would outweigh, the home runs that Grichuk is hitting in critical moments.
There is a way, but I don't know. I don't want to dive for it because it's going to take me a while. But I think on like fan graphs, they do have a stat where like batting average with 2 outs. Or runners in scoring position, or, you know what I mean? Like if you looked at Randall Grichuk's runners in scoring position batting average, Dickerson would be higher.
Right.
You know, I just have that feeling. Like I've seen it happen more.
Yeah.
Whereas like Grichuk, it's like, yeah, I don't see it. Or like you can even look up slugging with runner in scoring position.
Yeah,
Or
and
like slugging when like that you go like times you hit the go ahead runner and like there's sets like that.
Yeah, and I think and the point I'm trying to make too is like, you know, a home run boosts the stats so much, but it's like that home run could happen in, you know, the 7th inning when we're already leading by 6 and mean absolutely nothing to the game at all, right? Like it's so much harder to build your on base. You have to do that more and more consistently. And I just trust. Yeah.
Home runs are good when you are already a good player.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
say,
that makes you elite. Like, because, like, when you're not walking and working counts and putting the ball in play, you're hitting a friggin' dinger that's, like, elite. You know? You're elite now.
Which is why Cavan Biggio could be super elite if he could just, like, hit the baseball kinda. If he could just hit the baseball kinda.
Because he's already swinging for power. Like, he already has that kind of power stroke.
And frankly, dude, it's like, you can hit, you know, 15 to 20 home runs. I'm fine with that. And still be a really, really quality MLB player for what your skill set is. You don't need, you can still have, with his skill set, an OPS above 800 with only 15 to 20 home runs.
Dude, this guy could literally bat in the bottom half of the lineup, get on base for the top half for like, because now what you do when you put people like Espinal batting 8th, Biggio batting 9th, or whatever it might be of that combination, maybe I'm Gabriel Moreno one day in there, who knows? You set that's almost like thinking of it as like an old school 1 and 2 hitter. You know, like I run, I get on base, I slap, I just get on base. And then you think of it, then it goes over to George Springer, who would be like number 3. And then you've got whoever would be if we got Chris Bryant, number 4.
Right.
Vladdy, Bo, and like that becomes the new old school top of the lineup.
It's shifted a little bit. It's shifted.
I don't want Biggio on the top of the lineup of our lineup currently.
No.
Because it's too top heavy. I like him in the bottom half to flip the lineup.
But yeah, Biggio is the type of player who, at his ceiling, you know, he could get on base 40% of the time. And you know, absolutely, yeah. I mean, like, you know, it's like if you get on base 40% of the time, like you are in the upper echelon of like, you know, getting on base. Like those are, you know, like you see all the elites, like Bryce Harper's always above 400 on OBP. Juan Soto always above it. Now they also have incredible batting averages and RBIs and all that, you know, home runs and everything else too. But it's like Biggio could have a 260 batting average, get on base 40% of the time, and you know, have a slugging of like, you know, 420 or something, like not even that good, you know. And it's like that would still make you an 820 OPS player, and that's his skill set.
No,
and
literally.
Still be great. You know, you just need to hit the ball a fucking little bit, which he was incapable of doing last year.
Yeah, he has a hole in his swing, and
that's the problem.
That's the problem. He does have a hole in his swing,
because
bro.
they're only ever gonna walk you if you can at least like threaten a little bit.
Yeah, like because he's so fine in the corners, and like he won't chase corner like pitches. All right, well, I'll pump it down the middle. What can you do with my heater up and in?
It's
nothing.
Nothing. You can't do anything. You know, like there's no battle anymore with Biggio, and it's like it pisses me off because it's like if you could just fight back a little, if you could just make them pitch to you, you're gonna win the battle.
Yeah, and then they'll start pitching away from you, and then you can start doing your Biggio stuff.
Yeah.
But first, like that's what I want to. This is a totally different video, but like, what do I want to see from Cavan Biggio? Maybe we'll make a podcast on it more in detail. I want to see him literally fight, like you're saying. Get hits, then do your Cavan Biggio thing.
Yes.
Then do it, because they're beating you, bro.
Yeah,
they're beating you.
And that is the problem, right? It's like he established himself as a dude who's got incredible eyeball.
Like, we
Great.
get it.
I love that for you. That's awesome. But it's like, now, okay, you establish yourself as that, like this is your MO, so can you hit the baseball? And so far the answer has been no. If you just like change public opinion on you a little bit to make the answer yes, get a few doubles, get a few hits when they pump fastballs in there, then the pitching coach is going to tell their pitcher, okay, you know, it's like you actually need to pitch to Cavan Biggio right now. And now, because you're Cavan Biggio, you have the advantage because that is your skill set.
Yeah, well, Del Carmen's saying Biggio had a great June. Wish he could do that all the way. That's the thing. It's like, I didn't even know he had a great June because everyone was having great seasons all the way. And it's like he gets, and then the injuries, I didn't see it.
I remember he had like one. I think I remember the stretch that you're talking about, Aldel Curtis. It was short-lived. It was,
very short-lived. Yeah.
It was. I remember like there were like 2 or 3 weeks there where it was like, oh, Biggio is looking good, but it never felt sustainable to me. I don't know why.
It's trust. You don't trust him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
You
He's got to do
trust
it a
him.
little bit longer, and obviously, like, did not pan out the way that we thought. So,
Yeah. Oh, well.
damn.
Well, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, guys. That is our MLB news, CBA news.
Wow, whatever it was.
Blue Jays signed a guy today, a minor leaguer. He's really good for minor leagues. And, we hope to keep doing stuff like this. You guys coming in, it's really nice to have you guys coming in, chatting. We'll give you guys updates and news, kind of just talk baseball, because you guys seem to like it. So we're down for it because we like talking baseball, too.
Yeah, dudes. And you can also check us out on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor Radio, Public, and Google Podcasts. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but I feel like most of you already have, because if you didn't, that would be like really weird. Also, Monkey Knife Fight. Hop on it using our code TODAYJAYS. You can play some bets, do some cool stuff. It's fun. It's, just it'll help the channel, and it's like a good time too. So make sure to do that. Support us a lot. Oh, and also $3 a month, become a Patreon member. Have we shouted out James B yet?
No, we haven't.
All right.
Jamie
Well,
Ben
then,
or James B?
James B.
James B, baby.
Shout out to you, James B, for our new Patreon membership. We really appreciate it. You are helping the channel out so much, and we got to have you on very soon.
Yeah, he said he's going to come on, so we've been messaging back and forth. Maybe you'll see him sometime soon for Wine on Wine. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Go Jays, go!